I'm Taylor Borders.
And I'm Lindsay Borders.
We've been going to Providence for 9 years. On October 17th, 2012, Emmy was born, and my memory of that day is Lindsay was just like in heaven. I don't know if this is how every pregnancy goes, but Lindsay was just overjoyed, literally.
I would say Emmy joy was, 9 months to a year. And then we started saying we were ready to have another kid. And, Emmy, we got pregnant with Emmy so easy. I just was like, all right, so we're gonna, get pregnant in this month, and that means we'll deliver in this month. And, kind of under this false reality of like, I had any sort of control.
A month goes by, nothing's happening. And so we're like, well, maybe there's something going on.
So after about a year of trying with no success, doctors started running tests. They did, every sort of test on him and on me under the sun. And finally we were diagnosed with a secondary infertility.
I watched Lindsay go through frustration, disappointment, sadness, and, you start to question, one, is there something physically wrong? And then once you kind of go down that road and there's nothing really anybody could point to, you just kind of start questioning the Lord, like, what's going on? Are we not worthy? Are we not stewarding what we have well? Why is it a no?
I felt like a baby died, like almost every single month. It was some of the deepest pain I had ever walked through at that time. I kept saying to myself all these right answers that I knew, God is in control, like God is sovereign, all these truths that I knew in my head. But it was like the Lord overwhelmed me in that moment. Just be sad with me. And it was like in that moment, like Lord said, I care about your tears, and I care about that you're not pregnant right now.
We tried the IUI twice, and I would say I was hopeful, based on what the doctor had said about, our chances. One of the hardest things was watching Lindsay go through that, because she processes things on a much deeper level than sometimes I think I'm even capable of. So it was hard to see her hurting, the medication, the shots, going to the doctor,
I remember standing outside, and it was the day I was supposed to hear. I love hummingbirds. I hadn't seen one all summer, and I was sitting there like watering, and this little hummingbird flew up and just flew right next to me and just stopped and just stared at me, and I just started weeping. And I remember standing outside watering flowers and just crying with the Lord, and I knew it was like a no, before they even called. I was standing there, and I knew God was about to ask us to walk into something unknown, and I just told him I don't want to go. I'm so tired of hurting and being sad, and I'm so tired of wanting this good thing and seeing you say no. But I remember looking at that hummingbird and saying but if you delight in bringing me this little thing that's gonna make me smile, that I know you're with me right now in this pain. I remember laying in bed one night and just feeling like the Lord was just laying heavy on my heart. The idea of the Lord saying, are you gonna love this desire more than you love me? If I were to give you this desire, but take away all the good things that I've shown you about myself, would you still want this? And in that moment, I remember immediately responding to the Lord, do not take your presence from me. I don't care what the answer is, but do not take all these characteristics that you've shown me to be true about yourself. Do not take those away. In December, Emmy watched the movie Annie, and she had never heard the word orphan before. And so she started asking me, what does orphan mean? And so we started teaching her about how there are babies and kids out in the world that don't have homes. And so she looked at me one day and then she said, if there are babies out there that need a home, why don't we give them a home? We've been asking God for a baby, what if one of those babies could be our baby? And I remember very specifically thinking, oh my goodness, she's right. Like, and for the first time, the thought of adoption did not terrify me.
I think we got approved in March of 2018. And so we went on the website and waiting list and just started to continue to wait. A month goes by and another goes by and another goes by. And, it just kind of felt like we were having to circle back and walk down the same road again, just continuing to wait.
I would just cry for our baby, feeling like it was so close to us, but it was so far. And once again, we had no control. God was asking us to go somewhere that we did not know where we were going or where this baby was, or was this baby safe? What was this baby being exposed to? Was this birth mom okay? The hardest part of the waiting for me was just the unknown.
Our community at Providence, they've obviously walked with us alongside this whole journey. And we were actually asked to come in September, kind of share how we've seen the Lord be faithful in the waiting. After we shared in that video, Lindsay was saying it was a really hard thing for her to do, but we were both just so encouraged about how, even though we didn't have an end to the story to share in that video, we could share about how God had been faithful, even though we didn't know how it was going to end, and we didn't have what we wanted. The next day, I was at work. I just got finished up with lunch, and I got a call, and it's Lindsay, and she's bawling on the other end of the line, and I'm just like, what is going on? So
I'm at my homeschool group and I get a phone call saying we've been matched, that a birth mom had given birth to a baby boy that Friday, and she had picked us.
And we got on the call with the agency at 4 o'clock that afternoon, and they said, the baby, he's healthy. We got all the information on the birth mom, the birth dad, his situation, and basically said, do you want him? So
at 2:30 the next day, we pull up to a church in Fort Worth, and I start crying the second we walk through the doors. And walking into that room and seeing this beautiful boy for the first time was the most deeply emotional experience of my life. I never thought he'd be so beautiful. And all of the years and the minutes of waiting were so worth it the second we saw his beautiful little face. That first night, I don't think I slept a minute. I just held him and just looked at him all night, and I just remember I kept thanking God for the waiting, and I kept thanking God for not giving us what we wanted when we wanted it, because I was able to look at Shepherd's face and long for the Lord. And I longed to see my God face to face. And I was holding Shepherd and so thankful for this little gift, but feeling so deeply that I loved the Lord who had been with us through all of the wondering and all of the waiting and all of the days of not getting what we wanted. And then to see the Lord provide at the perfect time and at the perfect place with the perfect son, that my hope was not in him, but it was in the Lord.
When we hear his name, it's going to be an audible reminder of the Lord and who he is. When we say his name, we'll be able to look at him and visibly remember what the Lord has done and who he is and how he's been our shepherd throughout this whole process.